celebration of community, culture, and healing at the I Love Myself Festival, Sunday, May 21st from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. at the Outdoor Pavilion of the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall. Yoga, meditation, food, vendors, a kids zone, and a special panelist segment featuring Samantha Smith, D. Smoke, and Ebony Davis. Performances by Wilson, Skylar Ray, Divas of Compton, Iman Europe, Kalan For Real, and Eric Bellinger. It's all going down Sunday, May 21st at the Outdoor Pavilion of the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Let's come together for a day of fun, celebration, and healing. For more details, contact Project Pitt on social media or text 323-448-5770. The I Love Myself Festival in celebration of Mental Health Awareness Month is a free event for community healing and culture. May 21st from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall.
First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DePrima go way back. Tap Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DePrima. Go sis.
First things first.
Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DePrima. This show is called First Things First. And my first thing every day, most especially today, right now, this minute, giving thanksgiving praises, asking for blessings from the Most High, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's go. Let's do this. Let's talk about it. You know what we do on this Talking Point Tuesday. Hour 1, we look local. Hour 2, national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour of the show, we do a deep dive with a person or persons of interest, flipping the script a little bit today on this Talking Point Tuesday. My partner in politics will join me hour 2, and we will be talking with Azusa Pacific professor, who's also an active organizer with Black Lives Matter Los Angeles. Dr. Tabitha Jones-Jolivet will be joining me for that. Oh, yes, we have a lot to talk about. Also, believe it or not, we're doing the whole Met thing. Yeah, I know. We don't talk enough about fashion around here, but why not have some fun? I'm really looking forward to it. What is new? What's hot in fashion? Don't claim to be an expert, but I have a couple of experts joining me. Designer Linda Stokes, who has made garments for Jessica Simpson, Beyonce, and many, many more. Can't wait to talk to her, hear what she has to say about last night's gala, and also just the whole award season and what it says about where we are in fashion and all of the statements and not statements that happened. So that's hour 3. Also, Eva Jane Bunkley, who is a makeup artist to the stars. And again, their take. These are women, black women, I would add, who have been in the space doing the thing successfully for many, many years. And they always have a different take and some insights on what is going on. Now is a great time to call me. I do not have a guest in studio with me, just me, you, and this microphone. 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. That's the number. Just call me. Let's talk about it. Let's do this. I like to start with what's good whenever I can. I think it was good to see, okay, a little spoiler for our third hour, to see Serena Williams just glowing. She's having another baby. Olympia's getting a brother or sister. And she looked beauteous, like she usually does, with her hubby, Alex Ohanian. They cut a very dashing figure at the Met Gala. I don't know how you look dashing when you're pregnant. I never did, but Serena does. And congratulations to them. I know all that she went through, or at least I read about all that she went through in giving birth to her first child, with not being believed by doctors, almost becoming a celebrity poster child for the Black maternal health crisis. And yet she prevailed and got a beautiful little girl, Olympia, who's just adorable. Of course, I follow her on Instagram. Speaking of following Serena on Instagram, check in with us, KBLA 1580. We are on IG, we're on Twitter, Facebook, all the things, even on YouTube, where I am talking to you right now. Yes, it's terrestrial radio, it's YouTube, it's everything, everywhere, all at once. Blackety black, black, black. Good morning. All are welcome. Yes, we're blackety black, black, and yes, all are welcome. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I'm such a fan of Serena Williams in general, her career, her business savvy, her unapologetic stance as an athlete and as a woman, a Black woman. And so I'm happy to see her happy. I'm pretty sure that's why she decided to step down or step aside from tennis exactly when she did, because, I think she's 41, if I'm not mistaken. So when we're talking baby window, she's got to, if she wants Olympia to have a brother or sister, it's something she would most likely want to do sooner rather than later. So congrats to them. We do have a lot to talk about here locally. Speaking of Hollywood, the strike is on. The strike is on. Union, yes. The writers are taking a pause. They're walking off the job. I am very, 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 very hopeful that we can have this resolved sooner than the last one. I think the last one went 100 days. That's 3 months and some change. And while the writers have a good amount of money in their strike fund, I think it's close to $20 million, they are not, accounting obviously for the impact on the entire region. As, caterers, florists, hairdressers, makeup artists, gaffers, and PAs, everybody basically, a lot of folks are out of work. I remember it very, very well last time it happened, and just how sad it was around here in Los Angeles with folks not having food on their table, not having the opportunity, even with strike funds and people looking out for each other, folks taking other jobs. At the same time, I absolutely understand the writers are at a crossroads, right? Things have changed with the streamers that have not changed to the advantage of writers, according to the WGA. And now you've got AI on the horizon, which could take all kinds of crazy bites out of their piece of the pie. And so they're looking to ensure their future. And what some writers are saying now is already with the different innovations that have come along because of streaming, shorter seasons, right? That may be spread out over a long time, that you may be under contract to that show but not making enough to get by, or different ways of developing shows so that there's not always a pilot that a writer works on, but there's some other ways of getting to yes for that order with streamers. So in lots of different ways at this point, the technology and progress, the new business models of the industry are cutting writers out of the profitable side, which isn't fair because the story's the thing. As Shakespeare said, the play's the thing. Without writers, even some of the cheesiest reality shows would not capture your attention because, reality ain't real, right? Somebody's coming up with an outline, a plot. And I know, the reality shows, most of those folks are not union, but the point is, without writers, most of us are pretty boring. Most of it. It's not just because I'm the daughter of two writers that I feel the writer's pain. It's just they're at the heart of everything. So they are the content, right? I always say it. If you're boring in real life, you'll be boring on Facebook. It's not the platform. It's the content. And so, of course, we have to stand with the writers, but I sure hope they can resolve this quickly. I was reading that if the strike goes on long, it actually benefits Netflix because they have so much stuff in the pipeline, number one. They have such a big catalog, number two. And number three, many of their pieces are shot and produced overseas. So compared to many Hollywood studios, it would give them advantage. I don't know if that means they try to drag the strike out so they can get a leg up on their competitors. Some studios saying, okay, well, this is a chance to pause in our spending and try to find some kind of way to work it to our advantage, fire writers on contract that we think we're paying too much for, or revamp the business model even more. But my hope is that they will come to the table and get a bargain that is progress for everybody, taking into account the profit losses and all that, blah, 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 from the pandemic and the way movie theaters are suffering. But at the same time, understanding that that's a short-term blip, which the studios will, in the big picture, just like the stock market, they'll profit handsomely. You can't crush the writers, the artists, the creators along the way. And so while we thought the SEIU Local 99 bargaining negotiation was way, way far off, that we wouldn't see a deal and we were going to see a prolonged shutdown, the mayor of LA stepped in and folks stepped up, and there was a quick resolution to that. Superintendent Carvalho, to his credit, moved. And so hopefully we'll see that same kind of movement without the mayor having to stop getting people safer inside to make it happen. All right, I'd love to hear from you. 800-920-1580. We do have a lot to talk about. I'm Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580 would like to thank all of the businesses that tune into KBLA at work. We celebrate you, your calls to the station, and your overall support. To show our appreciation, we would like to treat your office to a lunch for 10, brought to you by the Original Taco Pete's. Open the KBLA Talk 1580 app or log on to KBLA1580.com to submit your office to be selected for our Office of the Week. We know you're just like our staff, putting in many hard, smart working hours per week. We just want to say thank you, and we appreciate you. You and your staff deserve lunch on us. Enter your office to win lunch for 10 and be highlighted on KBLA Talk 1580 as our Office of the Week. Open the KBLA app or log on to KBLA 1580 to enter your office today to become the KBLA Talk 1580 Office of the Week, sponsored by the Original Taco Pete's, a black-owned restaurant. Become the KBLA Talk 1580 Office of the Week. This has been a KBLA Talk 1580 community call to action.
I know it's gonna happen without you.
When you get nachos, tacos, empanadas, spicy queso with jalapenos, Pepto-Bismol's there. Pepto-Bismol provides fast, effective relief from nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and diarrhea. All the things that can happen unexpectedly on vacation. So before you travel, pack the Pepto. Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
If car designers can make cars look like anything, why are there so many boring cars? Why not a car that looks like an ancient sword? Or the future? The sky isn't even the limit at Nissan. Why be boring when you can make a katana blade slice through traffic? That's the Nissan Z. Or something from the future whizzing by. And that's the Aria. Nissan. We design for thrill. 2023 Aria has limited availability. See dealer for financing details.
Are you between 18 and 26 years old and trying to find out how you're supposed to make all this work? If you've said, I need a job and some transportation, rent, it's so high. Food too. There's childcare and I need to go back to school. I need to transform my life. Well, help is on the way. Transform Your Life Day is coming Saturday, April 29th at San Manuel Stadium. It's a shopping mall of free community services where you can talk with program programs, and even enroll right on the spot. It's free help for young adults to get you started on meaningful careers, finish up your diploma or your college degree. There's help with finding housing, transportation, food, and childcare. Plus, you get a free ticket to the 66ers game, free parking along with prizes. Get there early for free food. Reserve your free space today at ccc.ca.gov. That's ccc.ca.gov. ccc.ca.gov.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Right now. There's never a better time than right now. A Talking Point Tuesday at that. Let's see. I would love to hear your talking points, favorite and least favorite. How are we abolishing them? How are we seeing through them? How are we reinventing them, renegotiating them? One of those famous talking points we'll deal with next hour is defund the police, and how that evolved and what it really means and where we are with it in terms of policing across the country. We'll do that. I'm also really excited. Tomorrow, the comedian Country Wayne will be in the studio. He's quite funny. If you haven't had a chance to check him out yet, do. But you probably have, because he's everywhere. He's probably one of the hottest comics in the country. He'll be with me tomorrow. And also Dr. Rosie Milligan. Going to be a lot going on around here tomorrow in the studio. Looking forward to seeing you there. Big Phil is on my phone, calling from L.A. Jumbo.
Saturday the dope at 6 o'clock.
Hey, Big Phil. You're on the radio.
Good morning. The devil don't sleep. The devil don't sleep. Let me say one thing. The devil messing with people's paychecks now. Not just the movie industry. Did you see the airline pilots standing out there striking yesterday?
Yeah. Well, are they messing with our paychecks, or are we standing up finally?
Striking more money while you're on strike. You're not getting, they're getting paid, but they cut their check.
That's true. Yeah.
Think about it. Think about that paycheck. They come in like it used to. It's a whole new ball game, especially living-wise. You know what I mean?
I would predict that, I hope these strikes get settled quickly. I mean, there's a pilot shortage. How are you going to not pay pilots when we have a pilot shortage?
Well, the devil don't sleep. They need a mediator immediately step in, because it's going to get bad. The devil don't sleep, like I say. Let me move very quickly. Where was you guys at the Barbara March? We honor her, which is one of my clients. Frida Payne was down there Sunday. I could have had you guys.
Well, nobody invited me, Big Phil. You got to call me before, not after.
Come on now. You had you guys, Travis Valley, you guys had front row. Come on now. But anyway, it was sold out.
But hold on, Big Phil. I know I'm supposed to know everything, especially everything pertaining to Lamert Park.
I'm sorry.
But you got to invite a sister. I'm always crying about nobody invites me to a party. Nobody invites me to nothing. So next time, I'm sorry we did miss that, though. It sounds lovely.
They gave an award, Karen Bass and Harris. There's numerous extraordinary things over there, Frida Payne. And yeah, my favorite song, everybody's song. You know the song that was when I was a teenager growing up? Know the song she did? The song?
I do not.
Bad to go, now that you found all that's left is a bad to go. I said, I want to marry you at 12 years old, okay? Sing it, girl.
I'm laughing because I don't know if you've ever sang on the show before, Big Phil.
Sing it, Frida, bad to go. That was a hit. Sing it.
Yes.
Anyway, we love this. You was a good day for Barbara, okay? I love you guys. Stay safe. Be careful. There's so many wicked things shooting up and all these guns out of control. Just be careful, okay?
Yeah.
God bless you guys out there.
God bless you too, Big Phil. Frida Payne. Yes, indeed. She's in a play. In fact, I think some folks from that play will be on the show Monday. There's a play with Frida Payne coming up at the Wilshire Eagle. Big Phil will probably be there. Let's go to T, calling from Inglewood. Good morning.
Good morning. Reparations and memory of our ancestors. I just want to send love and support to Mayor Karen Bass. I was listening. I think I tuned in Saturday morning, and there was a program, This Is Not a Drill, I believe the name is. And for about the first 10 or 15 minutes, they were just very, very critical of Mayor Bass, because she wants to add more police officers.
Right.
And I'm thinking, she's not Harriet Tubman leading the Underground Railroad. She's the mayor of Los Angeles. And this is a big city. There are a lot of interests, and she represents the entire city. So like anybody, I'm against bad police. I'm against thugs and criminals also. But she has to, we're getting, LA's getting the Olympics in 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, she has to do what she has. Karen Bass is brilliant. Eric Garcetti's a bum. Joe Biden's a bum.
Biden's
Donald
a bum
Trump's
too?
a bum.
Wow.
Biden's a super bum. Donald Trump's a super bum. Karen Bass is brilliant. Super bum. Karen Bass is brilliant. And we want to, hold her to feet. I mean, it's all right to, make her accountable, but Karen Bass is brilliant. Okay. So the people that get on here and like I said, that Saturday morning program and, Karen Bass, she's adding more police. Look, I've got a cousin, my cousin's son. He's about maybe 30 years old. He's locked up right now. Got arrested in L.A. about a year and a half ago. Let me tell you something. To take funds and talking about put them in the hands of gang intervention programs and psychiatrists, when a person has made up their mind that they want to do wrong, like my cousin, it ain't no psychiatrist or gang interventionist that's going to steer him right. When
sometimes a gang interventionist can, but I understand what you're saying, T. But let's put this in context. This is not a drill on Saturday mornings. Is a program that's hosted and produced by Black Lives Matter. So what do you expect them to say? I mean, that they're not going to be happy about a budget that increases policing. Never, ever. One of the things that I thought was so brilliant, to your point about the mayor, about the meeting, which I actually emceed with Black Lives Matter and a bunch of other community-based organizations, regular folks from the street, standing room only, was that Mayor Bass was very upfront about that. She kind of said what you said, like some communities want more police and that's what we're going to deliver for them. If your community doesn't want more police, we're going to look at what can make your community safer. We have to customize to what people want, and not everybody, has the same needs and wants.
Well, let me say this, like I said, Black Lives Matter, they come out and they say certain things, and it's like a lot of the things to me totally doesn't make sense because we live in a state that's anti-guns. So it's not like I'm in Texas where I can carry my pistol to protect myself. There has to be a deterrent for people that want to do wrong. Just Saturday night, I'm driving down Western near Vernon Avenue about 11 o'clock. Some guy gets behind me right on my bumper, so I pull over to let him pass. Then he gets on the side of me, and he wants to try to start something. I mean, if I can't protect myself because we live in a state that's anti-gun, we can't carry our pistols to be able to defend ourselves, but then you don't want police, but you want and gang interventionists. I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's just, like
well,
I said.
I understand your point. You know that I'm a very big advocate of the Second Amendment. I really also feel like America, we're not gonna give up guns. That's not a realistic position. It ain't gonna happen. It's too much part of the culture of who we are. I mean, love it or hate it, but that means we're going to have to get real serious about gun safety and certain common sense kinds of regulation. It shouldn't be easier to get a license to have a gun than to fish. I mean, that doesn't make sense, or to drive. But I do think that it's dumb to say, oh, we're just not going to have any guns, because that is not going to happen. To your point, I mean, it is absolutely true that responses from homeless experts or mental health experts or unarmed traffic adjudicators could solve a lot of problems that do not need an armed officer. And that's what we're talking about. That's what, when you talk about whether it's, you want to say defund the police, which became a hot button talking point, or whether you say reallocating budget dollars, rethinking your priorities, there's a lot of merit to that.
Only thing that I'm saying is we need to stop playing, because, like I said, I live in the real world.
As do I.
In the instance of my cousin, who would go in your house and tie you up if he had the opportunity, who would have women out, girls out.
Now, if he was in your house, you would have your gun, though.
Well, I'm just saying, there's no psychiatrist or gang intervention worker that would have turned my cousin around.
Well, I don't know your cousin. And
Yeah,
people
well,
don't turn around. They don't
Well,
turn around till they're ready to turn around. I know that.
Yeah, they don't turn around until they're ready to turn around.
Yep.
And then some lady
Real talk.
talking about she's from Black Lives Matter, and she lives in Rancho Cucamonga when some of us live in L.A.
Most of the people that I know from BLM live in South L.A.
Well, like I said, I live in South LA.
I mean, the ones from L.A. I mean, there's Black Lives Matter chapters all across the country. Man, we only have a minute and a half, T, and I got to ask you, why is Biden a super bum?
Joe Biden is like I said, he's a racist, and you know what I mean, his past shows what he is. Karen Bass is brilliant. You know what I mean? Joe Biden, if he was
okay,
black,
you know what? I love the way you did that, T. You pivot, focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Why is Karen Bass brilliant?
Yeah, Joe Biden, if he was black, he wouldn't even have that position. Biden is
well, we can say that about most politicians. If they were black, they wouldn't have got that job. But okay, I don't know if you want to stay through the break, but just in case you don't, you got a minute. Why is Karen Bass brilliant?
Karen Bass is brilliant because, like I said, her track record from where she came from the community, being of service,
right?
In the medical field, fighting for foster youth, fighting for young people, organizing with the community coalition, working her way up through the ranks into politics. And I mean, she's brilliant. I mean, she's intelligent. She knows how to get the work done. I mean, from the state level when she was in the state, from the city level, from the government level, I mean, national level. Karen Bass is brilliant. And for people, Eric Garcetti was a bum, okay? Karen Bass is brilliant.
More on that level. Later, yeah. T, I always like talking to you. I wish you'd call more.
All right, I'm at work, so I got to go, Dominique.
Okay, have a great day. We've got news, traffic, and sports, and then more on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
It's a Tuesday, May 2nd. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. President Biden is set to meet with top congressional lawmakers later this month to discuss the debt ceiling. Reports say Biden called House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and other leaders Monday to invite them to the White House on May 9th. It comes after Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen told lawmakers Monday that the U.S. could default on its debt as early as June 1st if Congress fails to raise or suspend the debt ceiling. The African-American mayors of two major Democratic-led cities are asking the governor of Texas to stop sending migrants their way. This week, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot and New York City Mayor Eric Adams both say the busing of migrants is straining their resources and is inhumane. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
During Staples Small Business Deal Days, find new deals in store each week. Plus, rewards members get $30 back in rewards when they spend $100 or more. Rewards offer ends May 13th. Limit 1. Redeemable in store only. Save big for your business at Staples.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Two players well into their 30s are generating some major hype in the NBA playoffs. 38-year-old LeBron James and 35-year-old Steph Curry are getting ready to face each other for the 5th time in the postseason. The Lakers are in San Francisco tonight for Game 1 of their best-of-7 semifinals against Golden State. LeBron is the NBA's all-time leading scorer. Steph holds the NBA record for three-pointers. Tennis legend Serena Williams is expecting her second child. Williams announced on her Instagram page that she's pregnant. Williams and her husband Alexis have a 5-year-old daughter, Olympia. Snoop Dogg has joined an ownership group that's trying to buy the NHL Ottawa Senators. The group is headed by businessman Nika Sparks. If Sparks is approved, he would be the first black majority owner of an NHL franchise. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Have you faced discrimination in Los Angeles? The City of LA Civil Rights Department can help. They investigate private sector discrimination in LA City in commerce, education, employment, and housing. If you're facing discrimination, submit a complaint online for free at laisforeveryone.com. That's laisforeveryone.com or call 213-978-1845.
Attention LA seniors and persons with disabilities. Did you know you may qualify for generous discounts on your LA DWP bill through the Lifeline program? That's right. With Lifeline, you can save money on your bill. It's easy to join, and the Lifeline program also is the gateway for other benefits, such as qualifying for our refrigerator exchange program. So if you are a senior or have a disability, learn more at ladwp.com/lifeline. That's ladwp/lifeline.
Thanks to our new sponsor, Lendistry. Lendistry is a national Black-led small business lender that is headquartered in Los Angeles. Lendistry helps small business owners access the affordable capital needed to grow. Visit Lendistry, LENDISTRY.com/KBLA today.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new plan. Nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hey Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, could potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
You know those cigarette butts that you see every day? They're made of microplastics and they line our streets and waterways. On California beaches, they're the #1 plastic you'll find. Over 35 years, cleanups have collected millions combined. But no matter where you see them, they're all getting smaller, eventually leaching into our food, our air, our water. The tobacco industry's to blame for all of the harm that they do. For the harm to the people we love, and the harm to you too. Learn more at undo.org.
Thanks for waking up with Dominque DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
I do thank you, and I'd love to hear from you. 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. Talking points that you often hear when it comes to strikes is that we can't afford it. It will do so much damage. It's not worth it. That the people on strike are being greedy. And if we look at inflation, if we look at the way business models are changing, if we look at the impact of AI on everything, right? You don't have to be a famous writer or a teacher. You can just be a regular person and start thinking about how is the changing tech environment going to challenge me? Is it going to create opportunities? Is it going to take my job? Is there any way to protect my job, my intellectual property specifically? I think about artists, people that draw, people that paint. Now you can have AI make a drawing that looks a little bit like this or that, and it'll literally aggregate using content from original creatives, but making it unrecognizable or just a little off so that they can't profit from it. That's crazy. There are record labels right now and artists saying, no, don't include our work, don't include our label in your search engine. I don't know what you call it, the reservoir of intellectual property that these AI technologies are drawing on to create whatever it is they're making. Can writers do that? Probably not. I think we're actually usually pretty far behind the curve when it comes to what the law says versus what the technology says. The law is not where the technology is. Most of the time, we're pretty far behind it. And the same is true with our paychecks. So standing in solidarity with the writers and at the same time praying that we are going to have a quick and fair resolution, because even though it might advantage certain studios, that might create opportunities for them to clean house or whatever it is that they're trying to do right now, post-pandemic, it also means that we take another hit, right, as a region, coming out of tough times with the inflation and the pandemic and all of the other trauma that we've endured. So I think it was $780 million in lost profits, wages, revenues, $780 million from 100 days. And I'm not trying to back up the talking point. To me, when you talk about a contract for writers that is probably 3 years long, the livelihood of the writers over those 3 years, yeah, it's worth it. But it's not just over the 3 years. It's the trajectory of whatever comes next. It's the precedent that's set, especially right now when everything is changing because of artificial intelligence, because of streaming, because of new business models, where if they don't set an advantageous model, they may never be able to go back, or if they go back, it'll be really a heavy lift to get the rights that they should have. And this is kind of the can that we kicked down the road, in a sense, from the strike in 2007, when we first started this debate about how are people, actors, writers, producers, how are they going to be paid by streamers by social media platforms and YouTube and the like. But now it's a lot more real, because now you've got Netflix scooping up awards, major awards, and functioning as a full-on Hollywood studio. And so, they're doing what they're meant to do. They're meant to do because their pay, they say, according to the writers, is going down because of the technology. And it makes sense. There are less residuals, right? Less reruns, less, each show is going to have probably yield less profit for the originator. And the seasons are shorter. I guess 20 plus episodes would have been considered normal. But now we're looking at shorter seasons, sometimes 8 or 10 episodes. Game of Thrones. And this hits pretty immediately. It starts hitting hardest first in late night, because late night TV, they're writing it every day. They're writing to the headlines. And so that's where you see it first. And you remember last time some of the cooler talent like Jimmy Kimmel were helping their writers through the strike by continuing to pay them or whatever other means they could use to support. And then now there's something called a mini room, which I wasn't familiar with actually before the strike. You can tell I'm not in WGA, where they have smaller groups of writers that kind of create the whole arc, the whole story of a series before it even goes into production. And apparently these particular writers are like the SEIU 99 is to teachers union. These folks are to WGA. In other words, they're getting paid minimum levels so that the studios can save time. Then they bring in the bigger writers just if the series is ordered to fill out the series. Half of series writers now make scale, which is the minimum that you can be paid when you're in the union. And that's a lot more getting the minimum than it used to be, about a third. Now it's half. since 2013, 2014. That's pretty serious. That's according to their own data. But they haven't had a raise since 2016. Now you look at inflation, so that means they've actually taken a 14% pay cut. And so the writers have plenty of reasons to be out on strike. And it's going to be interesting to see because the Teamsters and IATSE have already said they won't cross the picket line. So that effectively shuts everything down as far as Hollywood production. And the I guess when they're on strike, WGA members can't meet with studios. They can't negotiate with studios. They can't pitch. They can't sell. They can't option. So everything kind of grinds to a halt. So even though studios have been preparing for this for some time, it's still going to be serious business. Anyone who thinks that this is just a small deal has either forgotten 2007, wasn't here in 2007, or isn't really clearly thinking about the money footprint of production in LA. Even while we complain, productions are going to Canada, they're going overseas, they're going to Atlanta, and all of that is true. It is still a giant piece of our economy. The Academy, the folks that bring you the Academy Awards, changing the rules after we'll call it a controversial nomination. Andrea Riseborough managed to get herself nominated in a kind of bold way, I thought, but the Academy is changing the rules, and it's thought to be because of Andrea Riseborough and her film To Leslie, which yielded her an Academy Award nomination, some say at the expense of Viola Davis, who was well deserving, and the actor who played in Till. Some say they were edged out by a movie that only made $27,000 at the box office. What are the new rules? Why does it matter? Well, all these award shows are really political. It's never just merit. That's a complete, if there is such a talking point, it's complete BS. It's how much money does the studio want to put behind you to lobby everyone and sway public opinion. It's what movies the people in the Academy feel like watching, because whether it's the Academy or the Grammys or whatever it might be, unless it's the People's Choice Awards, if they don't see your show, your project, listen to your music, they're never going to vote for it, period. So what appeals to them? So one of the reasons we had the result of Oscar So White before, if everybody that's looking
the station
at, if everybody, happy Mercury retrograde. Okay, if everybody within the Academy is not checking for Till, Danielle Deadwyler, that's her name, Danielle Deadwyler, a beautiful woman who played Mamie Till. And everyone thought, a lot of people thought they should be nominated. Everyone at KBLA thought they should be nominated. But it's not merit based only. Yeah, sure, an amazing performance is going to give you a better chance. And I'll say most of the people, the vast majority of people who are nominated for Academy Awards and Grammys make exceptional music, do exceptional work. Are they the best? Usually not, in all honesty. And you could say, well, that's subjective. That's your taste, Dominique. But who are the taste makers? Who are the members of the Recording Academy? Who are the members, infamously, of the Golden Globes, of the Academy? And so, it becomes, forget about, Tavis yesterday was talking about equity versus equality, right? Equality is everybody gets the same deal. Equity means everybody gets a fair shake, right? We're not even at equality with most of these award shows. So forget about equity. It's popularity in Hollywood. It's who your team knows, your agent, your manager, your studio, and how much they're willing to put behind you. It's who you know, as we saw really clearly in this case. And the reason I say it was bold is because, look, your movie made $27,000. That's That's not even, Pan-African Film Festival. That's not even the, Actors Homemade Film Festival level revenues, right? But she got an Oscar nomination. I think, that takes some gall. I like that. I mean, in the sense that, hey, why not? No one saw my movie. Why can't I get an Academy Award nomination? But it won't happen again. That's because there was a behind-the-scenes sort of move to get her nominated. So what was that move? How did it impact the black actors that we thought were going to be nominated? And how are the rules changing? I'll clarify when we move forward like we always do. You know where you are, KBLA Talk 1580.
Maybe LA's newest talk station, but when you're punching above your weight, it's not about whether you can throw a punch. Can you take a punch? We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. KO! And we don't black down.
Outrage in Egypt over Netflix's Black Cleopatra. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News, brought to you by Lendistry. The life of Cleopatra VII, Queen of Egypt from 51 to 30 BC, is still captivating even now in 2023. The recent announcement of Netflix's upcoming docuseries, Queen Cleopatra, which casts Black British actress Adele James as its coveted lead, has the Queen's ethnicity as a topic of conversation once again. Narrated by the talented Jada Pinkett Smith, this docuseries will uncover the truth behind Cleopatra's heritage, intellect, and beauty. I know I'll be watching. Will you? Let us know on all of our socials at KBLA 1580. I'm Maisha Cairo, and we've got a lot to talk about.
You know those cigarette butts that you see every day? They're made of microplastics and they line our streets and waterways. On California beaches, they're the #1 plastic you'll find. Over 35 years, cleanups have collected millions combined. But no matter where you see them, they're all getting smaller, eventually leaching into our food, our air, our water. The tobacco industry's to blame for all of the harm that they do. For the harm to the people we love, and the harm to you too. Learn more at undo.org.
Come join us for a celebration of community, culture, and healing at the I Love Myself Festival, Sunday, May 21st from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. at the outdoor pavilion of the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall. Yoga, meditation, food, vendors, a kids zone, and a special panelist segment featuring Samantha Smith, D Smoke, and Ebony Davis. Performances by Wilson, Skylar Ray, Divas of Compton, Iman Europe, Kalan For Real, and Eric Bellinger. It's all going down Sunday, May 21st at the outdoor pavilion of the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Let's come together for a day of fun, celebration, and healing. For more details, contact Project Pit on social media or text 323-448-5770. The I Love Myself Festival in celebration of Mental Health Awareness Month is a free event for community healing and culture. May 21st from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
Yeah, so writers are on strike and the Oscars are changing their rules because of Andrea Riseborough. I remember when I was a young woman, very young woman, I got my first Emmy Award, and I was probably more shocked than anyone in the room that happened. One was in the Bay Area when I was on the NBC affiliate there doing a teen show. And after that, I actually beat out several newscasters. After that, they changed the rules. They changed the rules for that local. You couldn't, if you were not strictly a news program, you couldn't compete in that category. So I know how that feels, but at the same, so I can understand if she's upset, but at the same time, it makes sense because what happened is people like Gwyneth Paltrow and other big names who are friends of this woman or friends of the producers, Jennifer Aniston, Charlize Theron, Edward Norton, they mounted a lobbying campaign behind the scenes for this $27,000 grossing movie. And they had screenings. They hosted private screenings for Hollywood influencers, including members of the Academy. And they did a huge lobbying campaign. The manager, the actress's manager, Jason Weinberg, and the wife of the director of the movie went on an all-out campaign. Now they're saying that would have been illegal under the new rules. Maybe it could have been illegal under the old rules, for all we know. The reason being that many of these folks are members of the Academy. And as members of the Academy now, they will not be allowed to advocate for a movie. They can review it, they can say, I like this or whatever, but they can't have a private screening anymore. They can't call their friends and say, vote for this, not that. They can't tweet as Frances Fisher did. She went on social media and said that Viola Davis was definitely going to get a nomination, as was Danielle Deadwyler, so everyone should vote for Riseborough. And many people, myself included, were quite annoyed that Viola Davis didn't get a nod, and look at it as part of the long history of the Academy snubbing black women, black people in general, black women in particular. And Miss Deadwyler, of course, would have been her first nomination, but a performance worthy of such. And so it brings us back to the question of equity, right? Who has access to all those folks? Who can mount a lobbying campaign? And is that fair? I mean, it's already going to be unfair because it depends on the investment of the studio. But if there's 10,000 members of the Academy, you can make a huge difference if you have a few influential friends, and that's what they claim they are changing. The Academy is committed to conducting a fair, clear, and equitable awards process, blah, 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 blah. So we'll see. We're going to talk about the mega talking point of defund the police in our next hour. But look, when we come forward... $3 billion LA County has to pay in sex abuse claims. $3 billion. That's an estimate. What the heck has been going on? More on that when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580.
We may be LA's newest talk station, but when you're punching above your weight, it's not about whether you can throw a punch. Can you take a punch? We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. And we don't black down.
We begin top story with late-breaking news. Is it going to succeed, yes or no?
I think it's going to succeed. It's going to succeed.
Can you believe it?
Y'all did it!
KBLA Talk 1580 is about to celebrate its second anniversary on Juneteenth, and no terrible twos around here. We couldn't be more excited about all the good news we'll be announcing soon, including the launch of some new shows to keep giving you more of what you've been looking for.
Come on!
Smart radio for smart people. Hey, it's our celebration, but you get all the gifts. We'll be giving away fresh merch, swag bags, and a chance for you to join the private invitation-only, star-studded music and dance till you drop, food and drink galore second anniversary celebration. To stay in the know about the second anniversary details, download the KBLA Talk 1580 app right now. Don't miss out on your chance to be a winner. At KBLA Talk 1580, when we come forward, we're bringing everybody with us.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Here at NerdWallet, we often see people wrestle with financial decisions.
Mike is in the ring, up against his nemesis, indecision. Mike can't decide the best way to save his money, and indecision has him boxed in. But wait, Mike tagged in NerdWallet!
Whew, let's go. With NerdWallet side-by-side comparisons, you can find a high-yield savings account with interest rates that earn more bank for your buck. So the next time you wrestle with a financial decision, you'll come out on top. NerdWallet, the smartest decision for all your financial decisions.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio, KBLA Talk 1580.
So just as E. Jean Carroll is suing the former president, he who shall not be named, the 45th one, just as she's suing him, right, because there was an opening up of the statute of limitations for people who had been sexually abused in New York, we've got a similar thing happening in California. In California, a law was passed called the Child Victims Act by Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher from San Diego. So that law went into effect a couple years ago. And what it does is it allows youth who were abused to come forth. They get a new window to bring their claims. Well, buried, I guess, in the LA County budget, there is a line item that is somewhere between $1.6 billion and $3 billion that they are saying, county officials are saying, they are going to have to spend to resolve 3,000 claims of sexual abuse. 3,000 claims against LA County. And this is from children's shelters, from probation camps, from foster homes and juvenile halls, from the 1950s to now, 3,000. Apparently, this is on a scale unlike any other city. Now, I grant you, California has more people than most states, and Los Angeles is a huge county. That said, 3,000 cases. I mean, a county like Riverside has less than a dozen. We got 3,000. They're bringing in 11 different law firms to work on these claims. A lot of them, they don't have the evidence anymore, or maybe, they don't have the records. This is going to take a giant, bite out of our budget. It's insane. And it also, to me, points to the urgency of the reforms that are being made, that continue to need to be made in the juvenile detention system. Kids are not adults. If anyone should be rehabilitated in incarceration, it's youth. They shouldn't be tried as adults because guess what? They're not adults. No matter how heinous the crime. And $3 billion. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but that's like a Catholic church size. That's like a Catholic church size settlement. That is, some of these juvenile halls are closed now, but they're still yielding horror stories, which the taxpayers, as usual, will be on the line for. Stay with me. Dr. Tabitha Jones-Jolivet joins me. She's a scholar at Azusa Pacific and one of the lead organizers for Black Lives Matter LA. That's straight ahead on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
It's a Tuesday, May 2nd. I'm Mike Moore.